Namaste and Radhe Radhe. A very warm welcome to the JKYog International Women's Day Conference and Awards 2022 in celebration of 111th International Women's Day with the theme Break the Bias. We at JKYog and Radhakrishna Temple of Dallas are privileged to have the opportunity to once again fight gender bias through celebrating the accomplishments of remarkable women leaders in all fields through this very special event. The fact that you have chosen to join us today represents your enthusiasm to join in this noble endeavor to narrow the gender gap, and we thank you. I warmly invite you now to join us in a traditional lamp lighting ceremony at the Radhakrishna Temple of Dallas to inaugurate this conference.
राधे राधे। इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे के उपलक्ष्य में इस कार्यक्रम को दीप प्रज्वलित करते हुए 5 बहनों द्वारा दीप प्रागट्य किया जाएगा। कहा जाता है कि यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवताः, जहाँ नारियों का सम्मान होता है वहाँ देवता भी रमण करते हैं। तो यहाँ नारी के सम्मान के इस कार्यक्रम के उपलक्ष्य में 5 बहनों द्वारा आइए दीप प्रागट्य करते हैं मंत्रोच्चार के साथ में। हरि ओम। चंद्रमा मनसो जात चक्षोः सूर्यो अजायत श्रोत्राद्वायुश्च प्राणश्च मुखात् अग्निरजायत। ॐ शुभं करोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदां शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्माम् अमृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। बोलिए श्री राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
I will now humbly welcome Global Spiritual Leader and JKYog founder Swami Mukundananda to bless us all with a few words. Please join me in honoring him with a huge round of applause.
Divine souls, every year on the occasion of International Women's Day, JKYog conducts a worldwide conference to felicitate special women for their amazing, trailblazing accomplishments, heroic deeds, and noble virtues. This year, the theme for our conference is Forging Gender Equality in the 21st Century. Many millions of moons ago, the progenitor of the Indian civilization, Manuji Maharaj, wrote in his code of conducts that is famous as Manusmriti, Yatra nari yastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. He said, in that society where women are revered, they are given the pride of place. The celestial gods rejoice and bestow their choicest blessings. But he also wrote, Yatraitastu na pujyante tatra sarva phala kriya. Where women are not accorded this high respect, their all endeavors for fruitive activities go waste. In the Indian civilization, those tenets propounded by Manuji Maharaj were imbibed. And that is why women had equal opportunity in material and spiritual pursuits. The king of the celestial gods, Indra, the Puranas inform us, received initiation into knowledge of the universal spirit from his mother Aditi. Likewise, the Upanishads tell us that in that prehistoric society, just like men had the opportunity to become Brahmavadis, knowers of the absolute truth, there was also the presence of Brahmavadinis, the women who came to know the supreme truth. As there were rishis, great sages, there were also rishikas, women renunciants, ascetics, residing in the forest, dedicating themselves to the supreme pursuits. That is why the Upanishads talk about Maitreyi, the wife of the great sage Yagyavalkya. She engaged in spiritual discussions with him, and there is an Upanishad named after her, the Maitreyi Upanishad. To offer respect to her, there is a college in Delhi named after her as Maitri Devi College. And then who can forget Gargi? She was one of the 9 jewels in the court of King Janak. And when there was a special debate organized, one by one, the great scholars started getting defeated until in the end there were only 2 remaining. One was the great Yagyavalkya, and standing against him, undefeated, was the great Gargi. This is the heritage of the Indian culture. If we come from the prehistoric to the ancient historic times, we know of the 2 oldest universities in the world, Nalanda and Takshashila. People may be astonished to hear that co-education was prevalent in both these universities, which meant that gender equality provided women with equal opportunity to pursue secular and spiritual areas of learning. From ancient India, when we come to medieval India, we hear of the great queen, Rani Ahilyabai Holkar. When, under the tyranny of the East India Company, her husband was killed, she then handed over the kingdom to her son, who also got killed in battle. But she refused to cede her kingdom to the invaders, and she took on the reins of the country in her hand. And the next 30 years are known as the golden period. Not only did she establish a highly stable government, but she did the womanly thing of love, care, nurturing. She built dharmshalas, not only in her kingdom, but throughout the land of Bharatvarsh, all the way to Rameshwaram and Dwarka. And she reconstructed the Kashi Vishwanath temple that had been destroyed previously by Aurangzeb. Then we hear of Rani Lakshmibai, who was the leader of India's war of independence and who caught the fancy of the entire country. Khoob ladi mardani, wo to Jhansi ki Rani thi. There's so much of folklore and tales about her heroic deeds in war and her tremendous spirit. When we come then to pre-modern times, we hear of Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India, the great writer and poet, who also got into politics. And during the meetings of the Indian National Congress in the early 20th century, under British rule, alongside with Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Mahatma Gandhi, would sit Annie Besant, the president of the Indian Theosophical Society, and Sarojini Naidu. So this is a historical perspective of the gender equality that was built into the tenets of the sacred books that formed the basis of this glorious Indian civilization. And we see how it was put into practice. And yet somewhere down the line, this message, these principles got lost. My own experience, I'll tell you, when I was studying in engineering college, we had a batch of 200 students in which there were just 5 women. Such tremendous gender inequality. 74 years ago, the United Nations realized that 50% of the human population is women. And in order to realize the human potential of the entire globe, women must be given equal opportunities for learning, for professional practice, for inner growth. They must share the fruits of development in terms of health care, in terms of economic opportunities. Recently, the United Nations included gender equality in their 17 SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals. So, from the spiritual perspective, where does gender equality stand? Actually, the Vedas have a very deep view on this. They state that the soul is the same in men and women, and all souls are feminine. That is why we hear the story of Mirabai, a great saint during medieval India. When she was tormented by her brother-in-law, she left his kingdom of Chittorgarh. She was a widow, her husband had passed away, and she went to reside in Vrindavan, the holy land of Sri Krishna. There, she was desirous of meeting a great devotee, and the greatest devotee residing there was Jiva Goswami, the disciple of Rup and Sanatan Goswamis, who in turn were disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mirabai went to the ashram of Jiva Goswami and requested her disciples, "I want an audience with your guru." They went and asked him, and he said, "Go and tell her, I don't give darshan to any women." When they conveyed his message, Mirabai said, without batting an eyelid, "Go and tell him I had thought that in this land of Braj, there is only one male, Braj Raj Kumar Shri Krishna. Where does this second male come from who says, I don't give darshan to women? When Jiva Goswami heard this reply, he came running barefoot that I, despite all my spiritual practices, remained at the bodily platform of seeing myself as male, and she has got a higher realization where she is seeing all as souls. The soul is the Shakti of God and hence feminine. So from that perspective, all souls are feminine. Nevertheless, encased in the body, they play different roles in this world. God has endowed and empowered women with the ability to bring forth life into this world. And that is why the woman is the mother. Who is a woman? She is the mother of man. So if men are respect-worthy, consider how much more respect-worthy are women who are their mothers. To play the role of the mother, God has endowed women with the qualities, the virtue of care, selflessness, sacrifice, empathy, nurture, tolerance, forbearance, patience, inner strength and courage. These qualities are the aspect of the mother. And that is why all around the world, people refer to their country as the motherland because they realize it provides them sustenance. We call it Matri Bhumi. In the Indian culture, the earth is also accorded the status of the mother. Bhumi Devi. The rivers, we say Ganga Mata. We don't say Yamuna Pita and Ganga Pita. We refer them to all of them as the mothers. In fact, the cow is also referred to as the mother. So many times in the West, I'm asked, why do you guys not eat the cow? And I say, look, we drink the milk of the cow. She is like the mother who's providing us with milk. Now, when she is no longer in a position to give us milk, we chop off our mother and eat her up. How barbaric that is. So, the supreme divinity, the supreme divine entity is also viewed as taking on two forms. One is the Shaktiman, the other is the Shakti. One is Ram and the other is Sita, Narayan and Lakshmi, Shiv and Parvati, Krishna and Radha. But even amongst them, the feminine aspect, the Shakti, is given the higher, the pride of place. That's why nobody says Ram Sita. They always say Sita Ram, Gauri Shankar, Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan. So, to the extent that some of the scriptures say that, look, Sri Radharani is the mother of the universe and Sri Krishna is the father. So why do we say Radhe Radhe? Why do we not say Krishna Krishna? Shri Krishno Jagatan Tato Jagan Mata Tu Radhika Pitu Shataguna Mata Vandya Pujyam Gariyasi. Shri Krishna is the father. Radharani is the mother. The mother's place is 100 times more venerable than the father's place for the sacrifices that she makes, for the magnitude of her love, for the care that she offers. That applies to all the mothers of the world. It applies to the Divine Mother as well. And that is why we say, when you beseech the Lord for grace, the feminine aspect has got a greater nature of compassion and will be more munificent in bestowing that divine mercy. So, this wonderful perspective needs to be translated into the values, the culture of societies, nations, and the world at large. Let us all aspire for a world that is completely free of all kinds of seclusions and exclusions on the basis of caste, creed, sex, etc. Let us aspire for a world where the human spirit is provided with the opportunity to soar free, to realize its God-given potential, to bring heaven on earth in a paradise where women are respected, women are revered and venerated, and despite their physical weakness, they are not exploited, but offered the pride of place. In this international conference being conducted by JKYog, we have some very eminent speakers lined up. We are going to be hearing from amazing scientists, from entrepreneurs, from women activists, from writers, and from business women, etc. It's going to be extremely stimulating, inspiring, and uplifting. We look forward to the remaining activities of JKYog's worldwide conference on the occasion of International Women's Day 2022.
Thank you for your grace, blessings, and being the inspiration behind this event, Swamiji. We are also honored to share International Day Women's message by United States Senator Tammy Duckworth, who is a Purple Heart recipient, Iraq War veteran, and former Assistant Secretary of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs.
Hello everyone, I'm Senator Tammy Duckworth and I'm proud to help honor International Women's Day with you all today. On International Women's Day and throughout Women's History Month, we have the chance to celebrate some of the brilliant, resilient women of Illinois who raised their voices, blazed trails, and pushed our nation toward that more perfect union that our founders envisioned. The women who withstood hypocrisy, challenged racism, and overcame misogyny so that their daughters and their granddaughters could inherit the kind of nation they deserved. Women like Mary Livermore, who spearheaded Chicago's first ever suffrage convention 150 years ago and marked Illinois as a leader in the fight for women's rights. Women like Ida B. Wells, who demanded that women of color have a place at the forefront of the suffrage movement. And women like Mamie Till Mobley, who made the courageous decision to hold an open casket funeral for her son, Emmett Till, after his life was brutally cut short by white supremacists in one of the most horrific ways imaginable, a decision that sparked the civil rights movement. They shaped the America that we know today, and I'm proud to do all I can to help build upon their legacies and serve Illinois in Congress today. Whether it's passing bills in the Senate or flying helicopters overseas, I've learned time and again the good that comes from bringing a wide range of different perspectives to the conversation. In every room, from the boardroom to the classroom, we've seen that elevating women helps make our nation stronger. Here in Washington, I'm proud of all the work that Democrats have done this past year to help lift women up. After the COVID-19 pandemic forced millions of women out of the workforce, the American Rescue Plan is helping bring our economy back from the brink. We're seeing record job growth, historically low unemployment, and 84% of the jobs lost from the pandemic have already been recovered. When a rise in violence and discrimination was terrorizing the AANHPI community, particularly elderly Asian women, we passed a COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act that I helped to introduce and President Biden signed into law so we can better protect our fellow Americans and help stop hate against Asians. Right now, the bipartisan infrastructure law is helping to deliver safer roads and bridges, cleaner drinking water, and faster broadband internet access to working families all across our nation. And at the end of last year, I was so proud to join President Biden as he signed my bipartisan Protecting Moms Who Served Act to help tackle our maternal health crisis and ensure all of our women veterans, including women of color, receive the maternal care they've earned through their service. And now, as we mark Women's History Month, we have a responsibility to honor those who came before us, keep their legacies alive, and give all women an equal opportunity to thrive in Illinois and across our nation. Policies like equal pay for equal work, affordable child care, paid leave, renewing the Violence Against Women Act, and codifying Roe v. Wade into law. And while we may still have a lot of work to do, we're stronger when we do that together. Because when women succeed, America succeeds. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Senator Duckworth. You will be surprised to know that as per the latest United Nations report on gender bias, even in this day and age, 90% of men and women worldwide have at least one form of gender bias against women. That is a shocking 9 out of 10 people. Globally, almost 50% people think men make better political leaders than women. 40% think men make better business executives. Another study by Gina Davis Institute found that parents of both genders are 6 times more likely to think of scientists and athletes being men than women. While parents encourage male children to pursue sports and science, female children are encouraged to pursue dance, baking, and dressing up. Worldwide, 25% of people think that a university education is more important for a man than a woman. Gender bias does not just affect women, it affects all genders. Men tend to feel pressure of being the breadwinner and to not express emotions, leading to mental health issues. They are also bereft of paternal leave because of the stereotype of women being the traditional caregivers. To create a gender-equal world, it is important to understand our own implicit biases that hold women back and work proactively to address them, and JKYog is striving to do just that through this event. Over the next few days, world-renowned award-winning female speakers, academics, scientists, business leaders, and social workers will share their life experience and words of wisdom to inspire thousands of budding women leaders at the JKYog IWD Conference on Forging Gender Equality in the 21st Century. But first, let us put ourselves into the shoe of women and experience the world from their eyes. To support women, we must understand what it means to progress as a woman in this world. Artist, facilitator, dancer, and founder of Garage Arts Project, Renuka Raj Gopalan attempts to use the language of Bharatanatyam to express the voices and thoughts relevant to modern world. American civil rights activist and poet Maya Angelou's Phenomenal Woman was the poem of choice for this beautiful experimental piece of art. The spirit of womanhood is inherent, universal, yet unique. Her selfless heart and that strong mind, her gentle and firm touch, and that caring and assuring smile. Then, now and forever, we are in her nurturing, loving, and proactive embrace. This presentation is dedicated to all the phenomenal women in this world, with choreography by Renuka Rajgopalan, Sandhya Raduraman, music arrangement by Arvind Shrikant, and voiceover by Maya Angelou.
Many people wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. When I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand, or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palms of my hands, the need for my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's my mother and all your mothers, and my grandmothers, and your grandmothers, and my great-grandmothers, and your greats, and my great-greats, and all you women, and me.
Thank you, Renuka Rajgopalan, for that beautiful and inspiring performance that set the tone for the event. Let us join hands in the initiative to create a more gender equal world for people of all genders. I strongly encourage everyone watching, especially the young leaders of tomorrow, to absorb the priceless wisdom being shared by the renowned speakers in this platform. Together, we can and will break the bias. Thank you.
I'm Miriam Bosch. I'm Arnima.
I'm Nitin Kaushal.
My name is Tanya.
I'm Mohit.
I'm Durga Natamai.
I'm Smita Mehta.
I'm Tejal Jasani.
I'm an associate professor of special education at the University of North Texas.
An IT engineer from hospitality industry.
Director Cybersecurity at a financial institution.
And I work in the IT industry.
And I'm a software professional.
Homeopathic physician and a counselor by profession.
My name is Preeti Talati. I am a hypnotherapist and a yoga teacher.
I'm Ajay. I'm a consultant.
I'm Sandhya Bhatia, a postdoctoral researcher in a medical institute.
I'm here to call out the bias against the working women after they embrace motherhood, a world free of stereotypes and bias.
Whether deliberate or unconscious, bias makes it difficult for women to move ahead.
I broke the bias when I was deployed to Iraq, and Iraqi male soldiers were taken aback when they saw me, working alongside other male soldiers.
I can break the bias and help create a world
where differences are valued and celebrated.
Today, I would like to ask all of you to acknowledge and identify the unconscious biases that we have in our minds.
Knowing about bias is one thing, but calling it out and taking action is another.
Anytime when you see a gender bias or a stereotype or a gender discrimination, will you actively call out?
You can, I can, together we all can make this world a more level playing field for women.
Eradicating the stereotype of associating gender with competency. Break the bias.
Break the bias.
I can break the bias.
Break the bias.
I can break the bias.
Break the bias.
Break the bias.
Break the bias.
To break the bias. Are you in?